my name is Dave Masters. Recently I was asked to talk about something I was passionate about and how that passion relates to business and sales. And in going over the things that were important to me, the things that I love, it all came back to one thing for me, and that was writing. That's putting pen to paper. And my writing has kind of borne itself out in having written my first and only novel, having written several short stories, one of which was made into a short film, and the play that I'm currently working on, not to mention years and decades of journals. So writing is very important to me, and I consider it my greatest passion. And to kind of illustrate, I'll give you 3 reasons why. Number 1 is my love of language, both written and probably spoken more so because as a young man, I was fascinated by the people who could stand on stage and hold an audience and take that audience on a journey and mesmerize them with stories and lessons and have that audience walk away with something very, very valuable to them. And I found that so fascinating that it was something that I wanted to dedicate myself to doing. I heard that the definition of success was find something you love so much that you're willing to do it for nothing, but you're so good at it that you get paid for it. And so that was kind of my map, my blueprint as to what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I remember the first seminar I ever went to, the one that really changed my life, was as a young man I went to the Tom Hopkins seminar. And Tom Hopkins, as you probably know, one of the most famous sales trainers of our time. He's still doing it to this day. And going to that seminar and getting there a little early, and there was 200 chairs facing a stage, and on that stage was nothing more than a table and a chair. No other stagecraft, no lighting, no pyrotechnics, no backup music. It was going to be one man on a stage with a table and a chair, and these people had come to pay to see this man, and I was going to be so elated. I thought to myself, I was excited to go to that seminar as anyone in my age group would have been going to their first concert. And to me, that was what really changed my life, and that's where the direction I wanted to go. But I also understood that before any good speech, before any good presentation, before even a movie can be made, you've got to have the words on paper. And so I dedicated myself to becoming what I considered a good writer, a decent writer, but also a good writer. And so that was really what I dedicated myself to. So it was the love of language that really motivated me. The second reason I think I love writing so much was you get to tell a story. I think the 4 most powerful words in the English language are once upon a time. Because at that point, you have your audience, and they're willing to go with you on this journey. And if it's a good journey, they're going to walk away with a lesson or a moral. And telling stories is probably one of the most humanistic things that we can do. It's been around since the dawn of man, where we would sit around fires, and this is how we pass on our histories and our traditions and our values. And it's graduated and evolved to sitting around tables where fathers and sons, daughters and mothers get together and they tell their stories, and you get to learn about how grandfather lived through the wars and how he came to the country, and that is part of your history, and we only learn that through the stories that we relate to each other. And probably the third reason I love writing so much is that it moves people. The right words, spoken in the right way, can move people to think, can move people to feel, can move people to act. Again, if you can reach that audience, you can motivate people to fight their enemies with all their might, or forgive their enemies with all their heart. So it's a very, very powerful, powerful skill that I always wanted to be very good at. And how it relates to sales, sales really is that whole example of moving people, not only logically, but they buy into your feeling, they buy into your emotion, they buy into your belief system, and you carry them forward. And if we can do that in sales, if we can show someone a better future, a brighter future, that things are going to get easier for them, that they're going to be happier, then that is the transference of that emotion, and that's how we make our sale. And so if you're good at speaking, if you're good at writing, if you're good with words, you can move people, and hopefully in a positive direction. That's always been my goal. but to also illuminate and to get them to buy into their own future as well. And so passionate, lovingly, I love writing probably more than anything else. And I want to thank you very much for your time and attention.